Halloween
Forever.
Oh, good evening, Stephen. How the hell are you?
I'm okay-ish.
Ish? All right. Well, I think I got something that might cheer you up.
Uh-huh.
What do you call a group of rabbits hopping backwards?
What do you call a group of rabbits hopping backwards? Is it Stabir?
No, not literally. It is, of course, a receding hairline. Welcome,
Aye.
boils and ghouls, to a slightly tardy minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
And I'm Steve.
Well, first of all, before we get into apologizing why this episode is a day late, why are you just barely okay?
Because it's
What's
hot.
going on over there?
It's hot. It's in the 90s, and I got a pinched nerve in my leg. So it's just
Pinched nerve's not good.
a general discomfort. While nothing, and I mean, also the world is burning, and our leadership is fucking terrible. So like it's all that general malaise.
Yes,
But it's not like anything new that's really ruining my day. I still had
gotcha.
a nice couple tuna fish sandwiches for lunch. So
Sure. Hey, listen, as long as they're tuna fish is a plentiful,
yeah,
the world's gonna keep on turning. Yeah, I'm in recovery mode here because we were supposed to record yesterday, which was Sunday. This past weekend was kind of my birthday. We're recording this on Monday evening, so it'll release here a little bit late. But this past weekend, this was kind of my birthday weekend. My birthday's on Wednesday this week, and next weekend I'm out of town for work. So I was kind of like, oh, this will kind of be my birthday weekend. I had some light plans. Went to some friend's house on Friday night. Had a couple beers. Saturday, we didn't really have any plans that I was aware of. And then Sunday, I was supposed to play in a golf outing. Well, I did, needless to say, that's not exactly what happened. My wonderful wife and friends planned this big surprise weekend of all these activities for me, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But it was unexpected. So, ended up doing a lot of activities. That's kind of what a surprise is, I guess.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
I think we talked about this earlier in the year because my friend who just turned 40 had his wife also threw him a surprise birthday party. And I remember remarking, boy, wives love throwing surprise 40th birthday parties.
Yeah, it wasn't even a party. I mean, there was multiple, but it was like a whole weekend full of activities, which was amazing. I absolute blast of weekend. I'm just in recovery mode because I, as you might imagine, drank a lot, ate a lot. We went to Friday night, like I said, we saw some friends. That was the plan. Saturday, she was like, "Oh, I got a couple of surprises for you." I was like, "Oh, that's fun." The kids were in on it and stuff like that, so I didn't think it was going to be anything too grand. But then we randomly just got in the car and drove, and I'm like, "Where the hell are we going?" We're out going out 376, and then we pull into the airport, and I'm like, "We didn't pack anything. We're not going anywhere." Well, she surprised me with my brother, flew up to spend the weekend.
Oh, cool.
We went to my cousin's house. He made me, he has a big smoker out there. He made us a bunch of ribs and a bunch of beans and mac and cheese and ate all types of stuff. Then we went to Old Thunder, which he lives right up the street from Old Thunder.
Yeah.
Went to Old Thunder. Then we went to this cocktail bar. Then we went at dinner at Fet Fisk, which is like a restaurant in town. And boy, howdy, we were tuned up by the end of that day. And then I woke up Sunday morning thinking we were going to go to this golf outing. And they were like, "Oh, Danny's going to play in the outing too." Oh, fun. Turns out they surprised us. My wife had a tea time for me and 9 friends at Old Stonewall. So I got there and they were all waiting and surprised me. And, as you might imagine, we drank a lot.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
and then last night, me and my brother and my cousin stayed up till the wee hours of the morning. We watched The Sadness because they were like, let's do something just mean. Give us something mean. I was like, all right, I got one for you. So we watched The Sadness and then, made the decision at like, midnight, like, let's watch another movie. We were outside in my backyard, took the TV outside and we're sitting out there and drinking and hanging out. And we did a little palate cleanser before bed with Clowns in a Cornfield.
Oh yeah, right on.
As well. So it was a long, very fun, very eventful weekend, but I is tired and I was strongly considering not drinking a beer on the episode. But as you can see, your boy keeping it together for the listeners. Got to get that beer in me. Got to do irreparable damage to the liver, regardless of how much I drank this weekend.
Good way to apologize to them. I will still hurt myself for you to tell you about this beer that I may or may not like.
Self-flagellation for our loyal listeners that like to listen every day on Monday. 100% my fault. But also, as I typically do say, one, it is a free podcast. Two, all complaints must be submitted in writing, and then you are urged to roll that piece of paper up into a little ball, stick it up your asshole. I do want to remind you guys all that is the policy. Anyway, speaking of beers, Steven, are you sipping on something?
I am. It's just a little small thing I found in the fridge to make you upset. Because it's just a little, we're on a technical punishment episode, even though it was a good movie and it's a lot of fun. And,
it was fun.
Yeah, it's not a true punishment, but, I can make you watch me drink this fuck-ass Gloop Glop beer from afar. It is from the Ellicottville Brewing Company. And it is their Strawberry Crunch Bar.
Disgusting. I love a Strawberry Crunch Bar. Don't get me wrong. That is actually one of my favorite, ice cream truck novelties.
That's a good pick.
But in beer form, doesn't sound that great.
It's fine.
It's fine?
Yeah, it's fine.
Super sweet?
Actually, no. Yeah, it's actually not super sweet. It doesn't trend actually towards kind of the ice cream gloop glop that I love from Abjuration. It's more of a tamer, just like here's a strawberry ale with vanilla in it.
Sure. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So
that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So in that, it just makes it like your kind of standard 2012 kind of gloop glop beer rather than advanced machinations of evil.
Yeah. Full on diabetes sugarfoot ale. Although I am jealous, our friend Ron here in the Discord is popping into some Shiner Oktoberfest. You know that Oktoberfest season is upon us, whether you like it or not. I am holding on to that because, like I said, Wednesday is my actual birthday, and I did take off work. I'm just going to go play some golf with one of my buddies, and then we'll probably drink some beers, and that's going to be my kickoff day for the Oktoberfest. That's when I'm going to go to the store and get some Oktoberfest. But in the meantime, I am drinking on something I picked up at, where did I pick this up?
JR's. Cranberry beer and pop.
Yes. Nope. JR's. You're right. It was JR's. Got this at JR's a couple of weeks ago from Brew Gentleman, which I'm seeing now that they're just going by BG Brewing now. Kind of a KFC situation.
Yeah.
No longer Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's just KFC. Now they're just calling it BG Brewing.
The gentlemen have left and they've gone woke.
Yeah, it's just BG Brewing now, and they are making a little beer here called Mr. Automatic, which is a bit of a confounding beer, but I have, I guess, some ideas about the direction they're going here. So I picked it up, right, because I saw classic English style robust porter, and I said, hell yeah, right. Love that. Expected a low to moderate ABV. Normally brown porter is a little lower ABV. A robust porter is gonna be a little higher ABV, but this thing is 6.7%.
Yeah,
which is quite high for the style. Not outrageous, but quite high for the style. But it is very, very tasty. for modern interpretations of the style. And then I was like, well, maybe they're going for an old school throwback, stout porter type of thing from, when when those terms were interchangeable and the style was developing and blah, blah, blah. Well, it didn't really say anything like that. So maybe I'm giving them too much credit there, but it is a tasty beer. And it's got some bitterness to it. It's pretty thick, pretty lush, got a little bit of sweetness in the end. Then it's got some kind of that dark chocolate, little bit ashen, not quite like char character, but a little bit of that like dark chocolate bitterness on the end. Good mouthfeel, a little bit of hop character, not a ton, but very enjoyable. I don't hate it.
Yeah. BG does usually good stuff. We were almost Porter Brothers because the other beer I had in my hand that I was like tossing in between was a Helltown coffee porter. So I was like,
Porter Brothers sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah.
That stars Tim Allen.
Sure.
And somebody else. And they're like two estranged brothers who came back together to start like an auto body repair shop or something.
Or they work on trains.
Or it's just a literal porter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're literal porters. Sure.
Yep.
Could be. Mark that one down. We're gonna have to write that script. Although do not believe I would enjoy working with Tim Allen.
No, not today.
No, not that is an option, but if it were, don't think it would go very well. Yeah. So for those of you who are just joining us, maybe after a little bit of a break, first of all, get your ass in gear. The fuck are you doing? Second of all, you may have missed, and so I'm going to spoil it, our Showdown episode from last week, where we had our old pal Anthony from the Call This a Movie podcast, and we did our showdown on good scenes in bad movies. And again, spoiler alert ahead, Steven took the showdown. I feel like it's been a minute. Am I wrong in saying that?
It's been a while because it's usually either the guests or the patrons or you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while.
Those are the options.
And I'm just saying, I keep getting screwed over a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a very strong sense to do something very terrible. Mm-hmm. And I still have this film in my back pocket, and it may just happen in September if I win again.
Sure. Just however the mood strikes you.
Yeah.
Because right now you're playing a real victims card here, and I'm hearing some like supervillain origin story stuff coming out right now about how you got fucked and it's the world against you and all that stuff.
It happens plenty of times on this show that some reason I get denied victory for whatever dumbass reason, and then I don't get to pick the movie that I want to pick, and then I build up that frustration and I start picking the real dirt stuff deep down in the world of film, and then we wind up watching Fish Piss because I get mad and I just want to overturn the game table. It happens. And then
Steve gets ornery. Steve doesn't have an outlet for his anger. And what happens? We end up watching Fish Piss.
Wind up with Fish Piss. I had a film on deck that I would argue is worse than Fish Piss. And I was going to unleash it until when Brian won last month and had us watch a movie called Surf 2. And that was just enough to soothe me and say, boy, it would be really shitty of me to unleash this one movie. Instead, I picked something else, something that was fun. Tonight, we're talking about Encounters of the Spooky Kind. But I actually had another film that was on deck that fits the same kind of thing. Like, we're talking like jumping vampires, Hong Kong film.
Hopping vampires, Hong Kong kung fu terror, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I found there was another movie called Chinese Ghost Story. That's just what it's called, just Chinese Ghost Story. And I was like, we might watch that.
Oh, is that the one? Is it in a school? Am I thinking of something else?
I think you're thinking of something else. It's not in a school.
Okay.
but it's just very similar of like, a horror comedy with kung fu.
Gotcha.
But then it just so happened there was a Criterion Collection commercial that I saw, and they added a bunch of Sammo Hung films. And in that commercial montage, I saw that they had Encounters of the Spooky Kind, and I was like, oh, fuck, let's watch that instead. And that's how we got here. So, benevolence on my part, and wanting to bring us back to our roots of when we watched The Boxer's Omen, which is just one of the best insane fucking mixes of magic and kung fu-ery and horror elements and spooky little guys, and I don't think this one hits all of those is the same as The Boxer's Omen, but there's still a lot of good stuff in this film.
There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, and aside from Sammo Hung, who's obviously a kung fu film, Hong Kong legend, right? And his huge influence on, Jackie Chan, and then of course everybody else Jackie Chan influenced, and such a unique figure. We'll get into him a little bit, but yeah, I would say it's not as whacked out poo brains bonkers as The Boxer's Omen. It's less like gothic, crazy black magic stuff. Although there's plenty of spiritualism and I don't know if you call it black magic, but there's plenty of, summoning ancient gods and that sort of thing, but not as many monsters, I'll say. Mm-hmm. But compared to The Boxer's Omen, this script is airtight. Yeah. Because this actually has a story. It is pretty much sticks with the story the entire time. Yeah. It's a kind of an unknowing revenge tale type of thing where maybe the lead character we'll talk about doesn't know necessarily. He's framed, but he doesn't know who did it. And then ultimately, spoiler alert, not big spoiler, it's going to come. If you watch any of these movies, he's going to get his comeuppance in the end. But we as viewers know who's up to no good, and we want them to have justice served upon them. And we of course get that at the end. Yeah, this movie is tight, and focused compared to 99% of the other similar films of the era and of the subgenre. So I've seen this movie before. This is the first time I really paid close attention to the plot, because most of the time when I watch these Hong Kong martial arts horror movies, especially horror comedies, I'm not really paying attention to the story too much because it's just all over the place. Right. The last time when I watched, I didn't. This time I did, and I was like, "Well, this is pretty tight, actually."
Yeah, I think a lot of Sammo Hung's films specifically, because this was also written and directed by him.
Yeah.
So I think specifically
starring, written, and directed.
Yeah, specifically his films tend to be tighter and more focused. Like Western films, because you can also see like a lot of Western influence in his films. Yeah. So I think he's a lot, more focused and tighter. Whereas a lot of the other Shaw Brothers films that you could pick up at random are going to be all over the place.
That's a great distinction. Yeah. The Shaw Brothers films are absolutely kooky. Sammo Hung ones, perhaps not so much, but this does have a lot of just like almost a who's who, I feel like, of Hong Kong, classic Hong Kong, bizarre kung fu / horror mystical stuff. Maybe there's a lot of familiar faces in this. Like I said, starring Sammo Hung as Bold Cheung, and then we've got Paul Chung Fat, Wu Ma, Liam Ching Ying. Even if you don't know these names, you would recognize their faces if you've seen any movies in this subgenre. I feel like a lot of them are quite familiar. Yeah, they're all in a lot of the same movies.
Yeah, yeah.
But looking at their Letterboxd kind of portfolios here, if you will, I am seeing a lot of movies that I don't recognize that I'm like, oh, that's going on my list. The Dead and the Deadly I have not seen. from 1982. That's got a lot of the similar cast in it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one
including
either.
Sammo Hung. Yeah, I've not seen that one. That one's going on the list. All right, I'm not going to get sidetracked going down this list. But
yeah, because that's just straight we're just talking straight Hong Kong movies now.
yeah. Yeah. So had you seen this one before we watched it for this particular occasion?
No, I hadn't seen this one before. I think because we did talk about Mr. Vampire, and I've seen Mr. Vampire before, and I think even like Mr. Vampire 3 is another one that comes to mind that I've seen. And then like I was also talking about, I watched the film Chinese Ghost Story, which is like, it's wild, and maybe one day we'll get to that as well. But yeah, I hadn't seen this one before, so I was excited because I have been watching like a lot of Sammo Hung films in general.
Yeah.
Like I on the Patreon, you can go and look up, like I did a big write up of like Winners and Sinners, which is just a really great, it's an ensemble, and it's one that has both Jackie Chan and Sammo in it.
Yeah.
It does lose its place a little bit because they're trying to follow Jackie Chan as a police officer, and then Sammo Hung is like in a gang of a bunch of guys who clean houses.
Okay.
Like they all went.
I feel like I remember this poster. Like I feel like I've seen still images from this.
Yeah, the movie rules because
this is a newer movie, considerably newer movie, right?
No,
this is like more like 90s, late 80s, 90s compared to this one, which I should say is from like 1980. I feel like, I guess what I mean is it's later than this movie, more like in the 90s.
I think it's 83. Yeah, it's 83.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so it's pretty early. But it is. Yeah, like it's Sammo Hung, and he goes to jail, and like him and 5 guys all become friends in jail, and then they get out and they clean houses, and then they fucking get into trouble while they're out.
Sure.
And then there's this whole subplot with the mafia, and it ties back in with Jackie Chan, but like there's doing like crazy insane stunts with Jackie Chan. Like there's an amazing highway sequence with him like holding on to cars and sketching cars and riding up to the next car. It's fucking madness. And then it's like culminates in almost like a Blues Brothers-esque car wreck, but it has like nothing to do with the plot of like anything else that's going on with Sammo Hung. So yeah, that one's a little, but it's still wonderful. So yeah. That's not atypical. I feel like oftentimes you will just get like a 20-minute detour in some of these movies. Yeah. just to get some more action or just get some more, wacky subplots. But anyway, before we get into the actual plot of this movie, you mentioned Patreon. First of all, Steven, why don't you take a sec, tell us what the fuck's going over on a Patreon? Yes. So over on patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever, if you sign up for $5 a month, you get a whole bunch of fun, goofy goods. And one of those goofy goods is that you can jump onto the Discord, like Ron is like right now, talking with us. He's telling us that he's drinking Shiner Oktoberfest. He's threatening me that he has terrible found footage films if he ever wins as a patron again on a Showdown episode. You get all that. You get to do all that.
It's a real Mexican standoff in the chat right now.
Yeah. You also get write-ups and reviews of films that we've watched. You mentioned that you just watched Clown in the Cornfield with your brothers and friend. I watched that too over the weekend, and so I probably have a write-up of that coming soon, along with a couple other movies that I put down. I was watching some weird French stuff that was a little hard to come by, but it was like you know the director of Rubber, right?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I remember we talked about him on the show before.
Yeah, Quentin Dupieux. And like Rubber and then a couple other films were pretty big in America for a while. And then he just kind of fucked off and stopped releasing stuff in America. But he still puts out.
He's been chasing that female skunk.
Oh, God.
All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
It was a cat, Brian.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was a cat that went under a
fence post,
a painted fence post, and got the white stripe on the back. You're right.
Yeah, it was a cat. That's why it was such an illicit relationship.
Interspecies relationship. Yeah, that's what made it so horny.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll have write-ups for stuff stuff from him and Clown in the Cornfield, and another movie I watched I think was really excellent, but I don't want to spoil it, and I want to make you pay to find out what movie I saw.
Give us some money.
Yeah. And on top
Give us your money.
Give it. And on top of all that, we have a monthly exclusive podcast that you get only on Patreon, and it's called 90s is Forever. That's the current series we're working on. We just finished our 5th episode, so we're halfway through this series. The 5th episode was Meet the Deedles, starring one Paul Pedophile Walker. And our next episode will be about another terrible, awful 90s comedy called Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde.
Yes. These movies are all, I think almost without exception, insane, cocaine-driven productions that are typically not funny at all, and but are ripe to make fun of. You don't have to watch the movies. You're certainly welcome to watch the movies. Some of them are way worse than others, but you also get 10 individual episodes for 2 different previous Patreon exclusive series. So I don't know if you're gonna do some quick math in your head there. That's 20. You've got me and Steve talking about 10 different dog shit right-wing Christian propaganda horror movies. Pretty much just talking about why you're going to go to hell. Spoiler alert, it's usually porn or being gay or not disrespecting your grandmother's cooking, things like that. That's what makes you go to hell.
Or simply not believing in hell also makes you go to hell.
That's true too. It's a real catch-22 situation. And then before that, we watched all the Fast and the Furious movies, which still haunts me to this day. That was 2 years ago. Hated it so much. But you got hours and hours and hours of additional content on there. Give us $5 a month. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. I saw just an update to this because we, in the previous episode with Meet the Deedles, we did a little bit of a Fast and Furious franchise update. And I think the audience knows, like, when Fast 11 does come out, we will see it and do an episode for the Patreon. But in order to make things equal, we'll also have to do one for the Christian horror series as well.
That's true.
And I saw a poster for one that I think is a good contender. It's a film called Tribulation that stars Gary Busey and Howie Mandel.
Oh, boy, how I was say boy howdy. I'm going to say boy Howie, because that sounds terrible. Also, how the hell isn't there 4 other movies already called Tribulation?
I'm sure there is, but that's why
it's just no one has enough money to sue them.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to sue each other. That's why you have to point out who's in the cast. I bet Gary Busey actually stars in 3 of those Tribulation movies, and none of them are related.
Yeah, if you go through his filmography, you're going to pause at TRIB because there is at least 3 movies that start with that.
I don't know if you. I just put up the poster in the chat. Oh, it also has Margot Kidder. That's the other one. If you just,
this is not. I was expecting this to be a little newer. This is back there a little bit.
Yeah, it's back there a little bit. It's from the makers of the Left Behind the movie. So this is like early 2000s, and just the look on Gary Busey's face on this poster is because it looks like he's just taking a shit.
He does not want to be there. He is pushing. Yeah, he's doing what's the medical term for that idea of like pushing out your anus, like when you're shitting?
Prolapsing. He's prolapsing his ass.
Well, that's when it goes over. You take a little one step too far. But yes, he looks like he is trying to push something out of his ass in that photo.
Yeah, it just real, like he's taking a real pre-2001 shit, and that he doesn't have a phone. He's just staring off into nothing. Just
he forgot to bring something to read. Somebody threw away the newspaper that was on the back of the toilet, so he's just sitting there bored, pushing turds out of his butt. That's exactly what it looks like. Anyway, it's a lot of fun over there. You can join us live. Like I said, we can get a bunch of other episodes and all types of cool stuff. If you're not ready to do that, then at the very least, for God's sakes, go follow us on the social medias at Halloween is Forever. Maybe you got a suggestion for a topic. Maybe you've got a suggestion for a minisode. You can slide in the old DMs over there at Halloween is Forever on the social medias, or Halloween is Forever pod at gmail.com. Also helps a lot, especially coming in spooky season. If you go on the podcatcher app of your choice, maybe it's Apple Podcast or a Spotify or whatever, and write us a quick little review. It takes about 2 seconds. You probably have your phone in your hand right now. You should go on there and do it. Just write nice with a bunch of C's and a bunch of exclamation points, and then give us the maximum amount of stars. We appreciate that too if you don't want to give us paper money. Okay. All right, let's get a little bit into this movie. We've talked. Oh, sorry, go. We got to spin that some bitchin' wheel.
Got to spin some bitchin' wheel.
Almost forgot, guys. We got other business. We got to spin that son of a bitchin' wheel. As Steve brings it up, I'll explain for those of you who might be new. Sometimes we got people coming in here around Halloween season. We do a Showdown episode. We already mentioned it was last week's first Monday of every month. We have some yummy, sticky, sweet, salty, everything seasoned content on the internet every Monday. But first Monday every month, we do a Showdown episode. We have a big old spinny ass wheel with about a bajillion topics we've accumulated over the years on them. They could be individual performers, subgenres, tropes. They could be all types of things. Like I said last week, it was good scenes in bad movies. We're going to spin it 3 times. We're going to put those 3 options out on polls via social media. Our listeners and social media friends are going to vote on which one they want. Once they do, me, Steve, and our guest, and sometimes our collective Patreon community, select a movie tied to that topic. We argue about it on the Showdown. Someone's going to get a hanging vertical suplex. Perhaps someone's going to get just a whip, snap, crack of a clothesline. Eventually, someone is going to take home that son of a bitchin' championship strap for the month. Steve did so that's why we've got his punishment movie this week. All right. Got the picker wheel up. Steven is spinning it for the first pick. This will be for September, guys.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So this is non-crow birds. This is a very specific topic. It's horror movies, including about heavily featuring birds. Perhaps the film was directed by a bird. That could be a thing.
Could be.
But can't be a crow.
Can't be a crow.
Because you know why? We've done too much crow shit in the back.
Too much crow shit.
We're all crowed out.
It's too easy too. Like you bring up and I don't know. Does this apply to ravens? Because they're both corvids.
That's true. Well, if we do know ravens, that's going to cut quite a few things off. A lot of gothic horror is going to go out the window if we get rid of ravens. But they are damn close, aren't they?
Yeah. I just want to clear that up ahead of time so we don't have any kind of I picked an Edward Howard Poe and it says quotes the raven, not quotes the crow.
Ron made a good point. Could be a movie directed by Tony Hawk.
Could be, yeah. Could be a Tony Hawk movie. Could be a Larry Bird movie. You know, hey, that's all up to interpretation. That's if that wins, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. Number 2, spinner wheel. We are Death for the Sake of Art. Okay, I'm just jotting this down. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like we're trying to do artsy fartsy stuff.
Well, or if it's maybe a movie about
that's what
about artists.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because like we're the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, that was Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh yeah, we got your screen up right now.
Yeah, I show you. Yeah, Velvet Buzzsaw, and then there was Bliss from a couple years back.
Oh yeah, the vampire one with the painting on the. She's a painter.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Stage Fright too. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's art. That's art, right? Theater.
Yeah.
All right. Death for the Sake of Art is number 2. Third pick. What is our third potential topic for our September Showdown? Here it is. It is musical horror. And in parentheses, films with musical themes or numbers. So that could be a movie about a killer piano player, perhaps, or it could be something like a Phantom of the Paradise or something like that. You know, I don't know if we call that pure horror, but it's, you know, you get the idea.
It's adjacent.
It actually has music. Yeah, maybe a oh gosh, what's the one I'm picturing the title? Anniversary of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a musical horror, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But maybe
so
not
once
a good
again,
choice.
maybe not a great choice, especially not for September. That's a holiday movie. Non-crow birds. I love how specific that is. Death for the Sake of Art or musical horror. So if you care, if you give one damn shit, if you give one damn hell shit about what that topic is for September, you go on over to social media this week and we will have on our usually on Instagram. Then we do it over on the what the hell's the other thing called? Threads? We do it on Threads? Where do we do it?
Do it on the Instagram. That's the big poll.
Yeah.
We do it we do it on the Threads.
That's right.
We do it on the Discord we have a special Discord for voting that's open to the public. And then we also do it for the patrons. They get an extra vote. That's another reason why you sign up for the Patreon.
That's true. So check it out this week if you care. Go on over there, vote, and we will tell you next week for what the topic's going to be for September. Okay. I think now we got all the things at the top of the show out of the way, Steven. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into this movie. Like we said, we're talking about a little pick from the year of our Lord, 1980. This movie is called Encounter the Spooky Kind, a.k.a. Spooky Encounters. That's pretty similar titles, pretty similar alternate title. We already talked quite a bit about the cast. We talked about the directing and all that sort of stuff. Sammo Hung plays Bold Cheung, so he's kind of our main protagonist here. And Bold starts out by getting attacked by some damn ghouls in a dream. So this movie hits the ground running right from the beginning. Of course, you don't know that it's a dream until he flops out of bed. And this, I haven't seen every Sammo film by a long shot.
Sure.
But this is maybe him at like peak performance.
Yeah.
Like he is so physical and so just what's the word I'm looking for? Not dynamic. He's like just everything he does has so much movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So physical in everything he does.
It's like
he falls out of bed and he's like explodes out of bed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's that same thing. And I mean, it's because both him and Jackie Chan were trained in that same theater school. But it's like anytime they do anything, it's not just the one action, it's the action and then the reaction. You know, like when he falls out of bed, it's not just enough for him to fall out of bed. He's got to get up and then like he sits up and he's sweating and he's like yelling. And then his, girlfriend, wife grabs him and he's fucking swinging his arm. Like he's swinging his arms at all times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think also the reason that I love Jackie Chan too, but I think the reason that I really like him better, I think, or I prefer his style better is they're so different. They couldn't be more different body types, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Jackie Chan is a little guy, super agile, super quick. Sammo Hung, I don't know exactly how big he is, but he looks like a giant monster compared to everyone else in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's probably smaller than me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But
easily.
like compared to all these guys, he looks like an absolute beast. And just that moving his body, like such a big body, like that quickly and that agilely. And like, it's just always really, really impressive to me.
Yeah. He was in a real recent film that shows off like how small of a guy he is. And I think it was one of my favorite films of the last year. But it's not a horror film, but it's called Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In.
Okay.
It's a film about like the Kowloon walled city, and it has a bit of a superhero bend to it. Like the kung fu is real off the charts. But yeah, he's in that film as like one of the mafia bosses. And so when you see him in that film with a bunch of guys who are like you're way bigger than him, but still only like 6 foot. You go, oh, like Sammo Hung's not that big of a guy. He's only like 5'7", 5'8".
Really?
Yeah.
That's short.
Yeah, he's only 5'7", 5'8". So everybody he's acting against in these earlier films where he dwarfs them have got to be 5'5" and smaller.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he looks like just huge in this movie.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, he gets attacked by these damn, it's a dream, right? But these damn demons, and some sort of old ass demon that are like arguing with one another. But then also one of them, when it busts out, is like a pillow pal for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But he's just kind of surprised by, he wakes up and then immediately gets launched into this this argument with his wife that he woke her up and blah, 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 whatever. You get the story right off the bat that he's, they're not particularly well off. They're definitely arguing, fighting a lot. He's like, I gotta go get some breakfast. So he's going down to the local, restaurant to have breakfast with his buddies. And he's got the one buddy who's got straight up cross eyes and a mole on his face the size and shape of a Hershey Kiss.
Yeah. It's a big old Cocoa Puff. It puts Lemmy's fucking face stuff to shame.
Yeah. And they are just, shooting the shit, talking. You start to get the idea of who Bold is. And obviously the name alludes to it, but he is characteristically bold. He's supposed to be very brave, but he's also very, he's not necessarily clownish. I mean, he is, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's got a little bit of like false bravado, right?
Right.
He's overcompensating a little bit, talking about his how tough he is and how brave he is and how not scared he is of anything. But ultimately, he does like prove himself to be tough and brave, but it feels like it's a fake it till you make it type of situation, I think.
Yeah.
In this film.
Yeah, it's definitely like a fake it till you make it. And he's just doing it because like he's brave enough to attempt things, but still, obviously gets scared in the moment by a lot of stuff, especially when it gets to like actual vampires and shit coming back to life and coming for him. Like, yeah, that's obviously terrifying. So yeah, it just seems like it's the only skill he has because he doesn't really actually have any other skill. Like his what is his work? His work is just being a bodyguard. So he has to fake it that he's a tough guy. Yeah. Otherwise, what else does he do?
Yeah, he's basically, we'll get to it in just a second, but he's having this conversation with his buddies, and one of them explains that some sort of like, I don't know, little game or ritual, almost like a, looking in the mirror, and saying Bloody Mary, and lighting candles or whatever type of thing. But he's explaining that if you peel an apple all in one piece and then make a wish, it'll come true. But then if you mess up, then something like bad is going to happen to you. Anyway, he goes home and immediately tries it. But then they set up this elaborate practical joke with like a big fan where they're like making it seem really windy and blowing his like shutters, like his storm shutters open and making him mess up. And then he's all scared. And then, the one buddy, the cross-eyed one with the big mole, comes in. He's all like got a crazy costume with a big long tongue, tries to scare him, scares the shit out of him. But then immediately they see, oh no, he's, they're just playing a big trick on me. So they reveal the joke, but then these candles really do light themselves. And then they're like, oh no, something's happening. And then we see it's not a reflection, but it's like the image of this woman, which I can only explain. She kind of looks like Two-Face.
Yeah.
But then she has big, long, what my daughters would refer to as baddie nails. Like she's got the big, crazy, long nails.
She got the Cardi B's.
Yeah. And then she sucks the cross-eyed guy like into the mirror, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't last long.
He gets sent to the shadow dimension. Like,
yeah. And we never see him again, I don't think.
No.
He never gets saved, anything like that. He's just off to the mirror dimension to suffer for eternity. little bit of I mean, we're only a few minutes into this movie and it gets really bonkers. Like now Bold is kind of like fighting her through the mirror. She's got super long, like Freddy arms trying to reach out and strangle him with her, or stab him with her fingernails. And then he eventually like cuts her arm off and then just jumps out the window before the whole house just crumbles. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, this movie really hits the ground running.
Yeah. And like, this has nothing to do with like the rest of the film, but
no,
it's just the way to set up that, like, oh yeah, he's willing to fight ghosts and like physically fight ghosts in some way.
Yeah. And supernatural shit is aplenty in this universe.
Yeah. But the whole stunt with him jumping out of the house is such like a Western influenced, like reverse Buster Keaton. Because it's because it's a wide shot of him coming out of the window as the house falls, but it's like all done practically, and you go, well, that's fucking wonderful, isn't it? They just collapse this entire house around him for him to escape, and he falls into a bunch of bushes.
Yeah, you're just like, holy shit, that felt like a, like a climactic end to a movie, not the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's telling you what you're in for here. We do get introduced to two things. One, Mr. Tam, right? That's right.
Yeah. Master
Tam. Master Tam, who is Bold's employer, and like you said, he's kind of his big guy. Right? He's kind of a bodyguard. He drives him around in his carriage. He takes him from place to place. He's kind of his Mr. Tam is like a rich and powerful local guy who's running for mayor. He aspires to kind of like run the town, and he's got a lot of people that work for him. And Bold is one of those guys. And Mr. Tam is having an affair, right? And they have this conversation about, oh, what you're rich and powerful. You could have any girl you want. Why are you coming down here to have this affair with this one woman? And his kind of thing, he kind of confides in Bold, like, I like the danger of it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm in it for. And Bold's like, okay, cool. Whatever. Hey, secret's safe with me. I'm just a meathead. And then turns out the woman that he's having the affair with is Bold's wife. And so Bold, of course, doesn't know that. They have a big reveal where like he's walking home and then he sees somebody after he drops him off. Like he sees somebody, two guys like peeking in his, like, I guess it's his keyhole, right?
Yeah.
And he looks in there and someone's banging his wife, and he's like, can't see who it is. So he busts in. Tam sneaks out the window. She goes, she swears, no, you're making stuff up. She gaslights the living hell out of him into believing that he's an asshole and he's making up things about her cheating so that he can divorce her and he's a bastard and all this stuff. So Mr. Tam goes back to his, evil bad guy lair, and I didn't write down his name, but he's a great actor and great character in this movie. The guy with the little round spectacles.
Oh, yeah, I had him as he's like the Smithers.
Yeah, does look like Smithers.
Yeah, he's Mr. Tam Smithers, but I think the character's name is Lau, and it's played by the actor Tai Bo. Yeah,
and he's like, you've seen him in other movies, right?
Yeah.
Of this era.
Yeah, he's
fantastic.
He's in Police Story. He's in I think is he in Winners and Sinners? I think he might be. He's in Drunken Master 2. He's in.
I feel like he's so recognizable that he's almost a type in like a lot of Asian cinema, especially Hong Kong movies. Like I feel like I've seen other people play a character almost feel like they're ripping him off, like the way he plays this kind of like smarmy
please don't hit me.
Almost but I was gonna say it's like Jafar if Jafar was a pussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he's also in Winners and Sinners that we talked about. He's in The Dead and the Deadly. He's in just everything. He's in Yes Madam. Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Dude, he's great in everything. And he plays, again, he's like, yeah, he's Mr. Tam's like Smithers a little bit, you know. Anyway, he goes back, he's talking to him, and Tam decides that the best thing he could do, because he's worried that Bold's going to find out about this and either, you know, seek retribution or just his Mr. Tam's you know, political career might be ruined, and his, you know, he'll lose respect around town for having an affair with a married woman. So in order to avoid that, he decides he's going to knock off Bold, so he doesn't get wise to the whole affair.
Yeah. What a wild,
Smithers. Yeah.
Like, what a wild plot to a film of, I need to kill the guy whose wife I'm cheating on him with, but I'm not going to do it in a normal method. I'm going to hire a fucking warlock.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. And it's Smithers who suggests it. And it does not seem relevant, but he goes, yeah, we got to knock off Bold. And you're like, yeah, okay. That sounds believable. But and then Smithers is like, hey, my buddy does witchcraft. And he's like, oh, good. It's like, wait, how is that relevant to our conversation? I don't feel like that is, I guess like that is more of a, more of a fairy tale, not even fairy tale, like folk tale approach.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want to get caught, you know, with having murdered somebody, of course. So you put a curse on them and they can't trace that to you. But I'm like, it had to be pretty easy to get away with murder back then. Like, they didn't even have fingerprints. You know what I mean? I feel like that'd have been easier than you know, paying a damn warlock to get involved.
Yeah, to do magic from afar.
Yeah, and the guy's name's Master Chin, who has like a little yin yang tattooed right between his eyes, like right on his forehead, and he's like a wizard who likes money, right? And Chin's he at one point the subtitles that I had referred to him as brother, but I don't know if you meant that as like, hey, like you're my my buddy, or if it literally is his brother. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
but
so the version I watched was actually a dub from it was like a dub from '93. That's the version that's on archive.org that you can watch. They call him brother. They call each other brother, but at one point in the film, it is Master Chin telling the other priest, like,
was it Sui?
Yeah, he tells the other priest, like, don't call me brother, in a way that implies that,
would
like,
suggest it was like a term of endearment, kind of.
Yeah, term of endearment, or more like a brothership from wherever they studied together, like wherever they were monks
they had
together.
The same teacher. They did mention that, like, they both have the same like teacher and stuff. So yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they're actually brothers, but yeah, mine was subtitles, and it only used the word brother once, and then But anyway, so Chin goes to Tsui and is like, you got to help me kill this guy because Tam's going to pay us a bunch of money. And he's like, nah, dog, we shouldn't be using our magic for bad. We should be using it for good. And Chin's like, no way, we need money. So he goes and asks some other loser, and he's like, you better not fucking tell anybody, basically. So this one guy, I don't remember his name. He doesn't play a huge part. This little scumbag guy is going to go, trick Bold. Anyway, Tsui comes across Bold on the way out to this temple. And essentially he's like, oh, where are you going? Which way to the temple? He's like, oh, this way. He's like, oh, you're going to the temple too. What are you going to do? And he's like, oh, I got to go pick up a corpse of some dead guy. And it turns out the guy he was going to pick up was Bold, when he was going to be, because he was going to be dead the next day.
This is such an Abbott and Costello bit that they're doing. They bump into each other in the woods, and he's like, pick all that, and I hate to be that guy. And it's like, wait. And he like actually like pulls his like eye down. Like he's like, it's almost a Looney Tunes bit, like you said, where he like looks at him. He's like, oh no, you're clearly the guy that I'm coming to pick up the corpse of. Yeah. He's like, hey, do you know where such and such temple is? And he's like, yes, you go right up this way. And then like they start walking together, knowing, and then they realize they're both headed to the same spot. And he's like, hey, where are you going up to that temple for? And he's like, I got to pick up this fat guy who's going to die. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. Do you think I'm fat? And then he starts like pawing his face over it. He's like, oh, yeah, you're pretty fat.
He goes, I think the way the subtitles of mine said is, oh, yeah, you're enormous. I was like, meanwhile, I'm way fatter than that guy.
Yeah.
Way fatter than him. Like,
this is,
but yeah,
this is 1980s Chinese fat, not current day American fat.
Yeah. But I forgot to mention, but Bold is basically like on a dare going to go spend the night not on a dare, but he's going to win money, right? He's going to win like silver or whatever. That was the guy who Chin sent when Sui said like I'm not gonna participate in this, which he still kind of is participating because he's gonna go get his corpse. But he basically talks him into, hey, like you go out and spend the night in this this temple, and it's like he's gonna win a bet, like he's gonna win money from it.
Yeah, something like 10. It said 10 silver bars in my film. So
yeah, and then so they figure out what's going on. They figure out that like Chin is sending him there to die, and Sui immediately knows what's going to happen. And he explains very specifically how to survive this evening in the temple. And he said like basically like there's going to be a corpse that's going to come to life, and you're going to have to like get on top of the coffin, then at certain like or climb up in the rafters at a certain time when it gets dark, and then climb down, and at one point go under the coffin. He gives them these very specific directions about how how to survive. So Chin does this whole ritual at this shrine, and my favorite bit in this movie is the mumbling. Yeah, like the mumble prayers that Chin does. And he does it 100 times, and it made me laugh, I think, every time. And he's like making his mouth go really fast. So he's doing this whole prayer. The henchman guy locks Bold in to the temple. And then once it's dark, Chin. So it's pretty cool because Chin, like, he's doing all these rituals and setting everything up. And then he's acting this vampire, this corpse pops out of the coffin. And it's your classic Hong Kong hopping vampire. One of the better hopping vampires. In fact, I think this one is way better, not just in the makeup, but in the physical way it hops, and the sound design is awesome. In this one, compared even to like Mr. Vampire, I feel like in Mr. Vampire, they're a little bit more comical in the way they hop. Sure. This one, it's like he's almost more floating. Like I could see why this is like, I think the horror aspect, even though it's certainly not a scary movie, but it is, intended to be, a horror movie. I don't know. It's just a lot more effective in this movie to me. Yeah.
It is far more intense in these scenes. And I did like that when the vampire is looking for him and it leans down, it doesn't bend at the waist still. Yeah. It leans like Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And the most extreme, yeah.
I'm wondering, Michael Jackson probably would have been pretty popular at this time. So, sure. I'm just wondering if if that's just something they cribbed. They're like, yeah, make it lean like Michael Jackson. It'll be funny like that. Because, it's kind of funny, but.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like he's stiff. He's like a corpse. And it's not just that he's a vampire. In fact, the corpse is not alive. It's just reanimated, and Chin is using it as like remote controlling it almost, like not literally with a electronic remote control, but he is controlling it with his mind and body at a completely different location via this ritual and these spells that he's doing. Right. Mm-hmm. Which I think is pretty cool. Because it can't see, right? Like its eyes are all crusted over because it's a old, like dried out, crusty ass corpse, but it does have like the long, sharp fingernails, which is a characteristic trait of a hopping vampire. But it's not like it can see him, because even at one point, Chin like takes a break to like hydrate. He's like, bring me the water. And he like brings him a big bowl of water and he chugs it.
Yeah.
And during the time where he's like, it's almost like the bell rang and he's like at his, break between rounds, he's chugging water.
Yeah.
And the corpse, the vampire is just standing there. And Bold's like poking it like, oh, it must whatever was happening must have stopped. And then as soon as he's done with the water, it just jumps back into action, Yeah. So anyway, he climbs up in the rafters. It can't find him. Then he hides like under the coffin at one point. It's a great little kind of like, it's not really a fight scene yet. It actually takes a long time for a fight scene in this movie.
Yeah.
Like the actual kung fu doesn't kick in for like quite a while. This is more of a little chase, Marco Polo scene, if you will, around the temple.
It's even like a pretty good like Mission Impossible scene with the way.
Oh sure, yeah.
With the way he fucking has to like swing down from the rafters, and like Sammo's like he's got his legs crossed around a rafter beam, and he's hung upside down over the vampire, and he's like catching his sweat with his hands, and he's like trying to not let the lizards in the temple crawl all over him, and let the vampire know where he is. And then he's doing like these upside down sit-ups, because every time the vampire hops, his hat goes up close enough to poke him in the head, so he has to do a sit-up to avoid the vampire's hat poking him and letting the vampire know where he's at. It's just like, yeah, that's such a cool fucking stunt, but it has like tension to it.
Oh yeah, when he's underneath the coffin at one point and the vampire like launches himself forward, that's kind of how he goes for him. He's just like either stretches his hands out, like try to stab him with his fingernails, or he just kind of like launches himself forward. He launches himself forward and he almost does like a bridge almost, and that lets him go under him. Yeah. But anyway, a lot of cool, but again, not like kung fu proper happening yet.
Right.
But he does survive the night, gets him back into his coffin, and then he comes out in the morning when the little henchman comes back to like, assuming that he's dead. Sammo walks out and he's all disheveled and like just glassy eyed and kind of in shock. And of course he, like a doofus, accidentally agrees to another night.
Yeah.
For more money in the temple. And this time, Tsui gives him an even more elaborate set of instructions on how to survive the next night. And he's like, you got to go get 50 chicken eggs, and you got to go get 4 dog legs and the blood of the dog and all this stuff. And you do get actual chicken getting killed on screen, which is not surprising. And also, if you've ever, I don't know how many of our listeners out there have ever killed a chicken, but when you kill a chicken, they keep moving around for a long time. You've heard the phrase "run around like a chicken with your head cut off." So it's somehow less disturbing because you're just like, it's just still flapping around.
Yeah.
But anyway, they do literally cut its head off on screen.
Yeah. Pretty violent. And like they're actually using its blood for the ritual and everything. So it's like, that's a bit much. But thankfully, you didn't have to watch the dogs get killed. So
that's true. You don't have to see dogs get killed. But this is the second night is where you get the really great vampire fight scene, and this is probably my second favorite fight scene in the movie because I love the way, and I don't know who's playing the vampire, but. Because always is in makeup and stuff, and I didn't see him credited, but he's fighting in such a specific way. It's like everything is very rigid and angular, and I assume that the assumption here is that he's got like rigor mortis kind of or something,
right? But
he's just like the way he's fighting is just like very robotic, but very fast and like he just very angular, and it's just really a really cool scene.
For some reason my note just reads, "It's me, Kung Fu Bot. I've come to rock your socks."
He does. He moves very much like an old school robot. Yeah. So lots of undead kung fu. Eventually he does probably one of my favorite stunts in the movie. He eventually hits him. And again, it's Chin controlling him remotely, in the same way. But when I'm just going to call him Sammo because I keep forgetting the name Bold. Yeah. Sammo hits him with the finisher with the damn dog blood and blasts him into his back into his coffin after a long extended fight scene. Chin just flies backwards so far, smashes and breaks the roof of the building. You're like, holy shit. I mean, obviously he was on like strings,
Yeah.
But it was like, holy shit. He like smashes through the roof.
Yeah, it's such a wild stunt because, there's this whole remote aspect to it. So usually like you're expecting to see some sort of punch thrown or anything. And no, it's just a wide shot of a dude getting yanked by wires back into this giant fucking roof that is made out of bamboo and stone, and it comes down on top of him, and then just as awesome as that was, then it cuts right into slapstick of him coming up with a whole dusty face going, oh boy, my head.
You literally are like, you think there's going to be like little birds flying around his head.
Yeah.
That's like the look he gives you.
And then immediately cut from that to him in traction. Again, more cartoon shit. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a straight up mummy. He's got like his arms propped up, his legs propped up. Yeah, and then you're hearing from Mr. Tam and and Smithers, and they're like, this guy really fucked up, blah blah blah. Ultimately, I'm jumping forward a little bit, but ultimately Smithers comes up with another, dastardly plan. They're gonna frame, and you get at this point that of course Sammo's wife is in on this. She wants Sammo dead. She wants to be with the rich and powerful Mr. Tam. He's the lovable loser. Mr. Tam is the flashy, powerful, evil guy. She wants to be with him. She's evil too. They really do a great job of like hammering home that she is super manipulative and also evil. But yeah, so they frame him for murder, the flimsiest frame job ever, but it works somehow. Like he goes back to his house and very on accident comes in the door, falls forward, and his hands land in a pool of blood. They had to assume that was going to happen for this whole plan to work. So they really nailed the first aspect of that plan. He must do that every day. Just stump. It must do like his Kramer entrance, every single day into the house.
Well, maybe, I don't know. It wasn't clear, but maybe they fucked him over like the Shockmaster, and they put a stud in front of his door, so he tripped over it and fell in through his door like the Shockmaster did.
Even then, it wasn't like it was a huge pool of blood. It was like a little like, area of blood the size of like a bagel. He had to land two hands in that, which he did. And then of course, everyone comes in, sees him, and then right on the heels of that is the inspector, who I did not write down who plays him. Again, another super Lam Ching Ying.
Yeah.
Who has been in everything. Every Bruce Lee movie I can think, like Fists of Fury, Enter the Dragon,
Big Boss,
the Big Boss.
He's also the star
Game
of
Death.
He's the star of Mr. Vampire as Master Gao.
Yes.
So
he is in everything. Super recognizable dude. Always has that sick stash. Not always, but usually has that sick stash. He's the inspector. He comes in as like, your wife's missing. You got blood all over your hands. I'm going to put two and two together. We think you might have married. We think you might have murdered your wife. She's not even dead, of course. So yes, it doesn't look great, but hard to say that, conclusively he murdered her when you literally don't have a corpse. No confirmation she's dead. But they take him to jail, and Mr. Tam comes to find, he's like, I'm innocent. Mr. Tam comes and he's like, we're working on it. We're going to free you. We're going to get you out of here. He's like, oh, great. I appreciate you, everything. And then as soon as he leaves, they learn that not only is he not free, because it's a pretty funny and like in a way disturbing way to learn that you're going to be executed, is they bring in this big giant delicious looking meal with like a big like roasted duck and a chicken and like all this stuff. This giant like meal, looks like it's a meal for 10 people. And he's like, oh, wow, this looks amazing. Mr. Tam must have really like, paid these guys off.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is your last meal. You're getting your fucking head cut off tomorrow. And his reaction is to furiously eat the duck and the chicken like whole, just hammer it.
Eat it like a fucking maniac. And
yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was just because I was hungry when watching the movie or something, but damn, that duck looks so fucking good.
Oh my God. The duck, that skin on that duck looked fucking incredible.
It's so fucking greasy. And then he's also greasy as shit too, because he's like sweating. And I'm just like, hell yeah, that's how I want to get down. I just want to be greasy as fuck and eat a whole duck on my own.
Well, the thing is, it's not even like it's a fake. It's clearly a real duck, because you see him munching it, and then he bunches into the thigh, and it's just like all the juice running all over him. I'm like, fuck, I want that duck right now. But yeah, he thinks he's gonna free him. He's not. So he responds by eating a bunch really fast, and then essentially just flexing and busting out.
Oh yeah.
But a little bit more creative. He essentially, I wrote down, it's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. There's a chicken in the street. He eats it, gets strong, and beats everybody's ass.
That's pretty much what he did. Yeah, it's a fucking Streets of Rage logic.
Yeah, he throws a plate at the guards and is like, "Hey, assholes!" And they're like, "All right, we're gonna go whip your ass with these sticks." But when they come in, he beats the shit out of them and is yelling like they're beating him up as he's beating them up, which is kind of entertaining. And then goes out with a stick and just does this. This has to be where Tarantino got the idea for the handgun scene with the two in Inglourious Bastards, when they're in the opera house and the ones they're dressed as waiters. Yeah. And he's got to run up and kill the one guy and get to the other guy before he turns around.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like the whole time I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I would bet anything that Tarantino got his inspiration for that scene from this scene, because he's got to run down the hall with the stick before they turn and see him to be close enough and knock both of them out before they pull out their weapons.
Yeah. And he comes charging, just like they give it one look, and the one guy's down and he kicks the other one against the wall, and then he's out. Yeah. It's like it is not a protracted fight.
No, once he gets there, it takes him 5 times as long to run down there than to dispatch them.
Yeah.
But, and then he runs out. He obviously runs out. He escapes. He goes into the woods, goes to like an abandoned, I don't know if it's supposed to be like another temple or like a mausoleum or something, but it's just like an abandoned area. He accidentally like knocks down this guy, like a coffin, and there's a like decomposed corpse in there. And it's dark. It's the middle of the night. And he just decides he's going to crash right beside the corpse, which is obviously a questionable decision. This is the only part of the movie, which, I mean, you watch a movie like The Boxer's Omen, you see 50 things happen. You're like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
This is the only part that I'm like, I don't know why this happened. Is he's trying to sleep and the corpse is like mirroring him. So he rolls over and scratches his nose. The corpse rolls over and scratches his nose. He rolls the other direction. He sits up, looks around. It's mirroring him. So it's almost like that Charlie Chaplin in the mirror, bit, or Bugs Bunny, whoever you're familiar with. Like it's kind of mirroring him. And it takes him a while to actually see it, because it's always behind him doing the same thing as him. I don't know why that is. Why and how did that corpse reanimate?
Yeah. I think it's just a folklore thing. Cause before he goes to sleep, he makes it a point to scoot away from the body. Mm-hmm. But right before, we rejoin them and this kind of bit starts happening, it's a close up of his hand over top of the corpse's hand. Yeah. And so I'm assuming there's some sort of folklore about like, if you go to sleep next to a corpse, you'll wind up transferring yourself into the corpse. Yeah, in some way. That's
what I figured. It's got to be some sort of folklore, some cultural thing that was lost in translation. Mm-hmm. But the even more puzzling thing is Then all of a sudden, a black cat pops in and a little lightning bolt shoots between the corpse and the black cat. And then the corpse goes bonkers and starts attacking him.
Yeah. That one, that's where I was confused. Like, I figured the other part I figured was like, a very just kind of folklore-y thing. This, I didn't know, like, was it Master Chin in the cat?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Or is this some sort of familiar situation? Like, I don't know, because we didn't see anything cat related, I feel like, prior to this.
Right.
Or after it.
No. Yeah, there's no cat stuff before or after that.
Yeah. But that is what happens. Eventually, he just starts running from the corpse, and the corpse is chasing him. And he's running through the woods, sprinting. It's like right behind him. And eventually he runs into the inspector and his whole crew of, like, I don't know, like sergeants kind of or whatever. I don't know. He runs up to them. They see him come. They're like, oh, here he comes. And there was a really funny bit. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but he's like, the inspector sees Sammo coming and he like gets down in his pose and he like reaches out like for the guys to hand him something, and they just look at him like he's stupid. He's like, the knives, give me the knives.
The knives, guys.
And he gives
my swords.
He gives
Come
him
on.
And he gives him these two big ass swords. And then all of a sudden, because all they see is Sammo running, and then as soon as he comes closer, they see that this corpse running behind him, and all the sergeants dive into the bushes, and basically he just gets trucked. The inspector gets kind of trucked by the corpse, and just so happens to both his swords go through it and kills it. And then they burn it immediately. And Sammo escapes, right? So he gets to this other building. I think it was he called it like the house of the something. I forget. But he meets up at another locale with Tsui. And he hides Sammo in the coffin until the inspector and his crew show up, and they're wanting to search for him. And we get a really funny BO gag where he's like hiding in the coffin, and the inspector gets the hint like, oh, he's hiding in the coffin, and he's like about to open it, and Sui's like, don't do it, don't open it. That's a rotten corpse in there. It's gonna smell really bad. And they're all like, ooh, we don't want to do that. He's trying to convince him not to do it. But then the inspector does open it, but he's so scared to see it that he actually pretends to look in it, but his eyes are closed, and it is just Sammo just sitting in there, but his eyes are closed, and he closes it back up, and he's like, oh, you're right. It smells horrible. And it was just Sammo in there.
Yeah. For a movie that came out 30, 40 years before it, this movie has a lot of near coffin droppers bits.
Yeah. Just your bare back and butt. No. That's the hot dog one. What's he say? He's like, oh, yeah, it's like a bunch of nude corpses smashing out of shit wood and rolling down hills.
I didn't do this.
I didn't do any of this. I'm not worried about it. At this point, he's saved his life. He's many times at this point. So Tsui and Sammo are pals now, and they go into town. He's going to start working for Tsui. Basically, he's going to be the kind of his man, his assistant. They're at this restaurant, and this is probably the best scene in the movie. Certainly the best fight scene.
Yeah, best fight scene.
And this is extended fight scene. They're at the restaurant, and Kim starts controlling Sammo's arm, and he's controlling me. It's like he can't eat. He's like slapping, and moving his food, the other guy's food and stuff around and everything. So he's like controlling his arm, and it's just all this great action and stunts kind of take place. Eventually, Tsui figures out it's Kim behind it. Like he pretty quickly realizes it's Kim behind it, goes and confronts him. And then they have just a big old fashioned stick fight.
Yeah. They just
and
have a regular fight while.
Yeah. They're like, he's like, leave Sammo alone. And finally Kim's like, okay, fine. And just runs away.
Yeah. Yeah. But this whole other fight scene where Sammo's arm is being controlled by Master Chin it's total Dead Alive, or not Dead Alive, Evil Dead. Like
Evil Dead, yes, for sure.
Yeah, he's just doing the Evil Dead shtick of like, but it is far more complicated because he's rolling around, he's flipping around, he's fighting his own hand, but then he's fighting these other guys with his hand, and he's also trying to stop his hand from punching other people in the restaurant because he doesn't want to start a fight with them. So it's such a complex choreographed thing that they have going on, but it's wonderful.
Yeah. And shame on me because I wrote down idle hands, but yes, it is obviously Evil Dead. I just wrote down there is no offspring were harmed in the scene. But yeah, it's very, very Evil Dead. The physicality and of course the fighting your own hand, although he doesn't cut off his own hand. But
no.
So they find specifically Sui finds back where Kim was doing when he chased him out. He's like, yeah, you know, after he tells him to leave Sammo alone, he finds a like piece of paper that he had written like different characters on and stuff for his ritual, and it had Sammo's birthday on it. And you don't think a lot about it at that time, but ultimately that's how they figure out, that's how they trace back Kim to Mr. Tam, because they know Kim's after him, but they don't know why.
Right.
But I have to call out, I love, and this is like, I mean, if you watch any amount of like Kung Fu movies, you are going to see somebody fighting with a bench or a chair or a stool or all three. Those are very common things.
Yes.
If you've seen the Backstreet Boys dance, you're going to see the same type of props in a Hong Kong Kung Fu movie.
Yep. I love bench fighting.
This is some of the best bench fighting I think I could think of that I've seen.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
It's so impressive, and then it also ends on a punchline. Because because then he sits and he's falling. But the fight is after Sammo fights all the restaurant patrons, the inspector and his guards show up, and so he's fighting the guards who have swords with the bench, and it's like this incredibly impressive bench fight scene where he's flipping the bench and he's falling down on the bench and he's doing back bridges with the bench, all while avoiding getting stabbed with swords. And then after he dispatches all these guys, he puts the bench down very confidently and sits on it, and it collapses and he falls to the ground like a boof. Like it just, I mean,
you can see exactly, like if you like Jackie Chan, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how all the best Jackie Chan fight sequences end, you know, with exactly that type of bit.
Yeah. Just another thing that stood out to me, and it happens earlier when he's fighting with his hand, but I just wanted to call out. There's a moment where he fucking lumps himself on the head and does a full front flip, and that's totally Three Stooges. Like that's Curly flipping after he gets bonked on the head and flipped over.
Yeah, it's like the comedic timing, the impressive like just physical feats of the choreographed fight scenes. And then of course, you know, it's not just him. He's there's like 6 guys moving in one scene, like in perfect harmony. I mean, that's obviously the choreography, the dance of the whole thing is the impressive part.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about when we were talking about that film Siam 2 weeks ago or whatever, is that because of the lack of wide shots or anything like that, you never see that rich choreography of a bunch of moving parts at once. It's always like it's always too snappy with the close-ups, and there's barely ever more than 2 people in frame at once, and it's just like you lose a lot of it because you're not seeing the full motion of everything.
There's so much motion happening before the engagement with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch I always like to watch the guy he's not fighting.
Right.
It's always much more interesting because because he's the one where the timing has to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because if he engages too soon or too late, the whole thing doesn't look believable.
Yeah.
Or either he does it too soon and he just fucks it up, or he does it too late and it doesn't look believable. But anyway, and then another really great part too is then Sui, after chasing off Kim, starts doing his prayers real fast and turns the inspector's henchmen or deputies or whatever against him, and then he's got to fight because he's like the super badass, of the group, and he has to fight his own deputies, which is also fun. But we go back, we check in with Tam, Mr. Tam, and we just reiterate that like Sammo's wife plotting to have him killed is making her really horny. So like she's not cool. Like we really one more time we reiterate that she's not cool because she is going to get her come up in the best way possible, and I will not spoil it yet. It's so good. Anyway, so Sui paints this like protection spells all over Bold, which is a trope you see a lot. I mean, it was in like Qui-Gon, like it's been in a bunch of movies, right? Where they paint the protection spells in like calligraphy all over your body. Then in one of the cooler scenes in the movie, after that, then just 3 random janky Cenobites just float down from the heavens.
Just the most shitty demons I've ever seen.
I know, but I love when they float down because there's just like a wide shot. It's like you're inside the building and it's like out onto the street, and then they just kind of float down out of nowhere. And it's very like this kind of eerie lighting. This movie's very like got a lot of those kind of blue-green night hues to it. Like outdoor nature, nighttime hues. And yeah, just 3 janky ass Cenobites come down. But they have a decent little fight. And eventually, what I think all it really serves to do is show like how powerful like Tsui can be in his magic and the things he can do. Kind of set up a little bit about the things he can do,
right?
But they have to work together, right? He can't do it on his own. But it's a fairly little forgettable section, except for like I said, I love when they're just like floating down. Then when you see it close up, you're like, yeah, that's it's a crappy mask. It's kind of a crappy mask. But yeah, now it's time for the final showdown, and they have a whole altar measuring contest where they have this thing where like when there's 2, wizards that are evenly matched, whoever has the tallest altar will win. And Kim has this big giant altar, and then literally Sui pulls out like a box that might as well say Acme Altars on it. Gets in it, and then it's like the extendable like punching boxing gloves that would normally come out of like the briefcase, except for it just raises the altar up in the air above Chin's altar, and he's like, no,
how could you? Yes. Like I'm not entirely sure when this movie is supposed to be set. I'm assuming pre-1900s or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like there's no engines or anything really happening, and Sammo has to hand crank it, but it's a fucking scissor lift that you would find in any warehouse.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's just a scissor lift. Yeah, and it just has an altar on top.
Yeah,
and then they all rush to like their incense and like put all their stuff out, and they're doing it all in these like swift kung fu motions, but they're just they're just getting all their like religious accoutrements ready.
Yeah. Which I think this is all. Yeah. We also saw this in the Boxer's Omen in one of those sorcerer fights. Like one of those guys had like an altar with a whole bunch of shit on top of it, and got his ass kicked by the boxer.
I do love at this point, because again, another trope in kung fu movies is like giving your finisher a name, right? It's a very pro wrestling thing to do.
Yeah.
And I love in this one, they only give, as far as I remember, one move a name, and it's just ineffective completely. He's like, oh no, the five the five thunders palm, because he's like he holds his Kim holds his thumb up, or no, excuse me, holds his palm up, and for those of you in the Discord, Steve, you can see like he holds his palm up and then he starts dialing on it like it's a phone. And then he's like, oh no, the five thunders palm. And then whatever he does, it's just like ineffective.
Yeah,
you're like,
didn't matter.
Oh, it didn't matter at all.
Got prayed against.
This is really a lot of build up against the five thunders palm that didn't really nothing really happened. But they then switch to this thing of like, okay, this is the final form here. We're gonna evoke different gods to put our gladiators in the mix. So one of this like henchman guys that's been there with Kim gets turned into like, was he something tiger or something, but he had like a ring. So that's a pretty often thing you see in kung fu movies, fighting with the ring, like the metal ring. So he's fighting with the metal ring, and then Sammo gets turned into like a monkey god.
Yeah.
And he does this crazy monkey style of fighting where he's tumbling and rolling, but he's also like, just the physical acting is so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's silly and it's played like for laughs, but it's also crazy impressive.
Yeah, because when he's not actually fighting, like he's usually hanging off of something and he's preening himself like a monkey, which is like, the comedic, but, amusing aspects of it. And then his face is also just constantly
he's making a monkey face.
Yes, he's constantly baring his teeth in a way that a monkey would bite you. So
yeah, it's kooky. It's kooky. Then we finally get like he dispatches that guy, and now we get the showdown of Tam versus Bold. And great fight scene, although I wouldn't say it's as good as the restaurant one earlier, but great fight scene. He gets he's like some sort of spear god. He gets summoned like some sort of spear god. Sui summons him and like empowers Bold with the spear god, and then Kim empowers Tam with the like, what do you say, like the sacred sword or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a sacred swordsman. So they're going after it with the weapons. So now we get a weapons fighting sequence. So we've had our hand-to-hand fighting sequence. We've had our wacky styles. Now we get down to the weapons. So now things are really lethal, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, which I completely neglected to mention, but the only like clue he had of who was having an affair with his wife was that they left a shoe behind, and when she was gaslighting him, she told him it was his shoe,
right?
And he was like, it doesn't fit me, blah blah blah. So the whole idea was that it was his shoe, and in the last moment, he like throws the shoe to Sui, who does a quick ritual and like stabs a hole through his foot while he's fighting, and Bold gets the upper hand and runs Tam through and finally kills him. But and so basically what we have left is we have Kim versus Sui. He takes like shoots like a flame rope at him. It's the only thing I can think. It looks like a flame. What do they call him?
He does yoga fire. He does.
Yeah, he does do yoga fire. Yeah, you're right.
He tries to shoot Sui with yoga fire. Sui just rips his shirt off and just tanks it. Just says, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna take that fire."
Yeah, he just does Goku, where he's just takes it in the chest, then it bounces back and hits him.
Yeah, and and then Sammo cuts Chin's altar, so he falls just a little bit shorter, giving Sui the power. And god damn, what follows is one of the coolest things you can ever see.
There's a couple of really great things that happen in rapid succession here. So, like you mentioned, cuts his altar tower. So now the fire bounces back, sets Kim on fire. So we get a full body burn here, and the whole altar's on fire. And then he just falls down and burns. But then Sui falls out of his altar And Sammo runs over to catch him from falling from what, maybe, I don't know, it's 20 feet up.
Yeah, it's 15, 20 feet. They're taking Jeff Hardy bumps.
Yeah. And he doesn't catch him,
No.
which is unexpected. Just misses. And he's dead. Sammo, very bummed that his master, the guy who saved his life and that he's been fighting alongside, is now dead. Pretty unceremonious. Just after all that, taking the yoga flame, after all the magic, all the stuff happened, he just dies in the same way that drunk frat boys die at like state colleges, just fall off the roof.
The whole full body burn though is so fucking amazing because, and like it's presented it's slowed down, because they have to get the most out of this because it's a lot of action that happens in quick succession. So they slow it all down, but like they set the altar on fire. So the actor who is burning throws the flaming altar off the top of the altar and throws it down to the ground. And like Sammo has to dodge that. And so that comes down, Sammo moves out of the way, and then this dude just takes a full, Jeff Hardy senton off the top of a 15-foot thing into basically a pile of hay while he's on
like
fire.
Sand, on top of sand. Yeah.
It's like it couldn't have,
it
would not, there's no way that didn't hurt completely. And they probably only did it once.
Yeah. But they nailed it. And it's a big wide shot.
Yeah.
So you're not hiding anything. And the one good guy's dead. Both the bad guys are dead. The only one left, if you're taking score at home, is the wife. And wife comes out. She immediately like licks her fingers and puts it under her eyes to make it look like she's crying. So she comes out with her crocodile tears and is like, "Oh my God, baby, I'm so glad you're okay." And she's like, "He tried to rape me." And she's like, and Bold's like, I know. They're like embracing, and they cut to her face and she smiles like, "Aha, I'm gonna get him." He doesn't know. He's so stupid. And he just pulls back, gut punches her 10 times, rapid succession, calls her a bitch, and press slams her.
He fucking pummels her in the gut the way, like, I'm trying to think of, like, I know it's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, but like just the way like one of the bully characters would just uppercut so you come up off the ground is the Looney Tunes bit of it. And he just pummels her, and then like you said, he press slams her, and then it just freeze frames with her falling through the air. It's fucking
the end of the movie. He's like, "You bitch," presses her and dumps her off and before she lands on the ground,
freeze frame, the end,
credits roll. It's such a great ending. It's up there with like Pieces as far as like one of the greatest endings, because you're like, you want her to get her comeuppance, and of course you're like, no, don't be the gullible oaf that you were. And he's like hugging her, and he's like, nope, never mind. Just starts hitting her with like these hockey, like low blows to the gut. Yeah. Pow, pow. And it's not like 2. It's seriously like 8 or 10.
Yeah. It's
over and
rapid.
over and over. And then just press slam. Go to credits.
Yeah.
Such an insane ending.
Yeah. Insane ending. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can get away with that back then, and it was earned. Like it's not like she didn't try to have him killed by warlocks and cheat on him and also treat him like shit. Yeah. And so hey,
it's almost like Happy Gilmore when he's punching Bob Barker.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just uppercutting him. That's he's just laying into him. Comedic giant uppercuts. But anyway, that is Encounters of the Spooky Kind, aka Spooky Encounters, from 1980.
Yep.
What a treat.
Yep.
What a treat.
Wonderful film.
You should watch it. It's free. You can go watch it on archive.org. It's on it's on Daily Motion. You can watch over there. It's free. Don't cost nothing.
Don't cost nothing there. But I assume, like we said at the beginning of the show, I saw it on a Criterion Collection thing. So I think if you log on to their streaming service, you probably will maybe get the best version of this film.
Yeah. I need to. I am going to subscribe to that one. I've got a couple other streaming services that I need to drop, and Criterion looks like I feel like there's so much stuff. I don't know if they expanded their catalog like significantly. I mean, it's Criterion, right? They have a shitload of movies, but like I'm just seeing so much stuff recently popping up on Letterboxd that I want to see. That's like only on Criterion, unless you want to like buy a physical copy of it. So I might need to pull the trigger on that one, but I think I can get rid of my Crunchyroll or something like that. I feel like I've watched everything I want to watch on there.
That's the thing about this age of streaming now. It's not about like keeping one channel forever. It's just cycling. It's just cycling through. Like I've watched all this here that I need to watch. When Chainsaw Man season 2 comes out, whatever, I'll jump back on Crunchyroll or something. But
yeah, I think the only one that I consistently always say subscribe to is Shudder. I think that's my longest standing subscription.
Yeah, same.
That isn't free.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a lot of fun. If you guys have suggestions for wacky ass movies, obviously we watch a lot of stuff that comes out like as it comes out when people are really talking about it. We always like to do that. But also we like to just do wacky shit like this. So if you've got some suggestions, send them our way. Like I said, slide in the old DMs or send us one of them old-fashioned emails. We appreciate that. And then also don't forget, one more time, this week on the social medias, you also have the opportunity, or come over on the Discord. You can go to the link on our social medias to do it there. To vote for our September Showdown topic. And this will be the last time you get to vote for a second, because y'all don't get to vote in October, because we should do some sort of Halloween Hail Satan
Wheeloween
type of Wheeloween spectacular. So we don't so you don't vote. Anyway, you get to vote between non-crow birds, so those are birds who are not crows, death for the sake of art, or musical horror. And we'll reveal that next week. And then the week after that, probably the week after that, we'll announce what our movies are, if we're gonna have a guest, if we're gonna do Patreon pick or what. So anything else before we wrap up this here minisode, Steven?
I had the note that he jumped on him so hard butter came out. And I think that's in reference to when he's doing the Monkey King fight. He does some like double knee press and jumps on his opponent and crushes his chest so hard butter comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, I like to be surprised about what's going to come out of somebody's orifices when I double knee them. Yeah. And in this instance, it was butter. It would have been margarine. But yeah, it looked like butter to me.
Yep, they didn't have margarine back then, so it had to be butter. That's true. Had to be butter.
True. That is true. Historically factual. They did not have margarine back then. Anyway, all right. Well, that being said, for the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
And I'm Mr. Vampire 3.
And I'm all full of margarine. Bye.
Bye.